Dance till you're dead, 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 dead. Ooh, pee-pee.
Church bells.
Reapers, what is good? It's your boy Laser. He's watching another scary reaction video and the scary content. So I can live in 5 facts, origins, and lesser known oddities about Halloween. Guys, Halloween, spooky, scary skeletons. We're not showing no scary content. We're scary these features. Still up and you subscribe to the notification bell. You can stream day on Twitch. I'll stream music. What's up, boy? Let's dive straight in this video. This is about to be a banger, bro.
Under all the candy, plastic jack-o'-lanterns and mail-order costumes, there is some sense of wonder tinged with a bit of fear about Halloween. All cultures have felt the presence of some other realm of existence, a realm of spirits of lakes, streams, woodlands and mountains, and most importantly, the realm of the dead and the realm of malevolence. Sometimes this presence is closer on special days, sometimes in special places, and sometimes it's ever present, everywhere and all the time. And sometimes these presences are to be welcomed and honoured, sometimes they are to be feared. Regardless of the details, one thread that runs all through this is the unshakable feeling that there's something ethereal, unknown.
You know the best part about Halloween? I get to just nut in the jack-o'-lanterns.
Knowable out there. Things we hear at night, things we see in shadows or out of the corners of our eyes. Above all, things that may harm us and against which we have virtually no protection. The main stories of Halloween are well known to most of us, like the fact that it derives from Gaelic festival of Samhain. No one is certain what Samhain actually means, although one of many suggestions is that
Forbidden watermelons.
it means summer's end in Old Irish. But here we look at 5 of the lesser known aspects of the history of Halloween. Hit those lights, sit back, and remember that if anything happens to you in the dark, no one can help you.
What the fuck? There's a skeleton sucking on my pee-pee right now. My wiggly, big, huge pee-pee.
Robert Burns popularized the word Halloween. In 1785, Burns wrote a somewhat lengthy but charming poem about the fun, games, social significance, and also the connection with the supernatural of that date. He called it Halloween. Halloween is probably a Scottish word, first appearing in print in 1556, and spelled Hal Halon. It had been the
Hal Salone? Were they having a western shootout in there?
Subject of a few other works, but none caught on until Burns's poem.
I'm watching my
Burns's
second monitor, by the way.
is full of imagery of the harvest and the ending of the year, and also of the games and pranks that people indulged in as they prepared for another harsh winter. It talks about winnowing of grain, harvesting of apples, storytelling and dancing,
she's like
as well as ghosts of Scottish heroes, fairies in the hills, and so on. It very much captures the spirit of the harvest and the end of summer. The poem is mostly English, but with liberal sprinklings of archaic words and Scottish, and so it requires copious footnotes in order for a modern reader to get through.
Look at the horse. Look at the horse. Look at the horse.
Jack of the Lantern.
Dude, there's something, I swear, there's something so cool about jack-o'-lanterns. Like, I don't know if it's the lit up face. What is that fucking umbrella as a weapon? What the hell? I made a song on that, Death Pumpkin Land. Go check it out. SoundCloud and Audio Mac. Used to be on Spotify and Apple, but my music distributor is garbage and copyright issues. Look at my boy jack-o'-lantern. Look at all that molded and lit up. Look at the lit up cum inside there.
There was once a saucy fellow named Jack, a name given to default to all peasants in feudal times. Called Stinging Jack, he was a drunkard, a cheat, a trickster, and probably a very entertaining person, until you discovered that your wallet is gone. Every culture has its own Jack, because he's really a stereotype of a personality most of us have met, and an archetype that goes back in recorded history all the way to ancient Greece. Hermes was the god of travellers because of his speed, but also of commerce, highway robbers, charlatans, and con artists. Hermes conned Apollo out of his cattle, and conned Zeus into making him an Olympian god.
Look how mythical he looks, bro. Can I lick his chest?
One night, Jack met the devil, a pretty sneaky guy in his own right, and Jack invited the devil to dinner and drinks at a local pub. After they were done, Jack confessed that he didn't have any money and convinced the devil that they could get out of this if the devil changed himself into a coin that would cover their bill. The devil agreed and turned himself into a coin, whereupon Jack put the devil coin into his pocket, which happened to also hold a crucifix. In this way,
Look at those ant eyes. Look at those ant eyes. Look at those red ant eyes. Got boners on the head.
Jack trapped the devil and told him he would only get free if he became Jack's companion and would not claim his soul after he died. In some accounts, Jack did this after he convinced the devil to climb a tree for some fruit and then carved the crucifix into the bark.
Fucking apples, bro. Apples. Apples. Apples.
He wouldn't let the devil come down until he ratified the agreement. Whichever it was, Jack eventually died, of course. There was no way this character was getting into heaven, but the devil was bound by his own word not to claim Jack's soul, and so Jack was condemned to walk the earth for eternity, with only a hollowed out turnip with a burning coal in it for light.
Looks like a mad scientist from like one of those comic books, you know what I'm saying? Oh, for a second, that looked like a cig. I thought the PP lantern was smoking an op pack. Smoke my ops pack. You ever just smoke your ops pack after eating a biscuit that's more dry than most of y'all bitches anal holes?
To see his way. The turnip, through centuries of retelling the tale, became various types of gourd, and eventually the pumpkin we know today. Jack continues his roaming even today, and enjoys causing travellers at night to lose their way by following his turnip lamp. It may be that the phenomena of will-o'-the-wisp, swamp gas, or bioluminescence inspire the story, and it's a perfect tale for Halloween.
Look at this fucking... Look at this forest. It's so mythical. What do we got? Like, yo. So mythical. It's like blue. There's little lanterns everywhere. You got like a target right here. Am I gonna find Red Riding Hood? Am I gonna find Red Riding Hood in here? Red Riding Hood. He's a big bad wolf, huff and puff. Wait. I'm thinking of the Three Little Pigs.
Our own Halloween pumpkin, Jack of the Lantern, are inspired by Jack's tricks on the devil.
Number 3.
All Hallowtide. Most of us know what Yuletide means, even if we ourselves don't celebrate it. Although Yule is an archaic word for Christmas, it's thought to derive from Old Norse, Jol or Jul, which was a pagan Germanic midwinter festival that conveniently lasted for
Looks like the Harley Quinn outfit. I don't know, it was kind of random.
12 days.
Not
Tide
really.
simply means a period of time or a season. The early Christian church co-opted it for the celebration of the birth of Jesus, set on December 25th, and Yuletide became the term to refer to the period of time from December 25th, Christmas Day, to January 6th, or the arrival of 3 wise men to Bethlehem. All Hallowtide has a somewhat similar history, although the accounts are a bit contradictory. It was originally a Christian 3-day festival in May. The Romans had already adopted and adapted the Celtic festival of Samhain by superimposing 2 of their own. Feralia, a late October festival honouring the dead, and the day after, the festival of Pomona, a goddess of fruit and orchids. This latter is perhaps the origin of the traditional of bobbing for apples, which then became a means of
apples. Can I choke on this?
Forecasting marriage associated with fertility and fruitfulness. Divination figured prominently in all Hallowtide celebrations, particularly with regard to marriage. This is not surprising, since although the Christian church sought to put its stamp on the pagan festivals, in practice, pagan festivals caught on with Christmas. For instance, in bobbing for apples, sometimes the first person to manage to grab an apple would be the first to marry in the new year, or apples would be thrown into the barrel of water with men's names carved into them, and
I need this. Someone give me a kissy on the fucking pee-pee.
The woman who managed to bite into an apple would be destined to marry the man whose name was carved on it. And if a woman was able to peel an apple with one piece at midnight, and throw the intact peel over her shoulder, the peel would land in the shape of her future husband's initials. Legends are murky regarding the early history of the holiday, but in one account, Pope Gregory IV, or possibly Gregory III, decided to one-up the Romans, and so shifted...
What kind of fucking dragons are these, bro?
All Hallow Tide, a 3-day festival which included All Hallows Eve or Halloween, All Hallowmas, and All Souls Day from May to the end of October and the beginning of November. This way, the Celts, the Romans, and the Christians...
This is like a fucking satanic ritual we got right here. This looks like hell, oh my god.
Were all celebrating something vaguely pertaining to death, and rebirth, and renewal, all at the same time.
I was reborn like 6 times.
These 3 days constituted the tide of All Hallow Tide, and in fact Halloween festivals did originally last for 3 days, until it got out of control and became a problem in later times.
So cool.
What happens when you allow the populace to rampage through the streets in masks and costumes?
Dude, it's that fucking talking tree. Are they playing that, what's that game called? The fucking I forgot. That mythical garden game. Bum bum bum. My singing monsters, right? Bum bum bum. Look at this boy, bro. Gotta give him some biscuits, some dry biscuits. We got mythical. We got a black cat right here. That cat looks possessed. Kitty cat.
It may not be a good idea to fill people up with stories of spirits, the dead, pranks, tricks, and divination, and then just send them out unsupervised and in disguise into the streets for 3 days. Somebody will inevitably do something that is a bit untoward. This is exactly what happened in the USA in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and it's still going on in some places. Trick-or-treating seems to have begun sometime in the early Middle Ages, when it was called souling. According to this legend, the children of the poor, which were
What the fuck? Look at this boy. Oh. Demons. They already look like cannibals. They just like the Dancing Mania bike.
most people would make the rounds of the homes of the more well-off, which were considerably fewer.
Like I said, by the way, we're complete random, but I'm gonna die before I stop making YouTube videos, guys. If you're new to my community, join the Reaper community. We're the best community out there. I gotta balance this out with my cybersecurity. I'm taking certifications for cybersecurity right now. I'm doing both, but I gotta balance it out. So that's why my uploads aren't as consistent. Like I'm not uploading every single day like I used to, but I'm gonna die before I stop. It's just not gonna be as consistent. I'm gonna make sure that's my goal, to at least make sure I get at least one upload every 3 days, at least a week.
People, and ask for food in exchange for a song or prayer for the soul of a deceased loved one. If things went according to plan, the households would have prepared special cakes beforehand called soul cakes to give these children.
Soul cakes? They're gonna feast on my soul? Fetch me their souls, hellhounds.
At the same time, the thinning of the veil, separating the realms of the living and the dead, or supernatural, made some people nervous, and so costumes and masks were sometimes worn to fool malevolent spirits into mistaking the living for other spirits like themselves. All Hallowtide was actually a major event in the medieval Christian church, often with compulsory attendance at masses and tolling.
It's like the dancing man plague. It's like they're gonna dance till they're dead, literally. Dance till you're dead, dead. Ooh, pee-pee.
Church bells. The practice of lighting bonfires was adopted from the pagan version of the observance, and candles were commonly lit, and so All Hallows Eve was also referred to as the Night of Light. The bones of livestock were typically thrown into the fire as a type of sacrifice, and these were known as bonfires, which is how the term bonfire originated.
Look at this fire!
Halloween was slow to sink its roots into the American colonies, but as we all know, the devil is patient, unless he's dealing with Jack. Although early Protestant colonists to America took a dim view of Halloween observances, during the second half of the 19th century, a heavy influx of Scottish and Irish immigrants gave a real boost to Halloween, and it spread rapidly as a festival day. The emphasis was not so much on the treating part of trick-or-treating.
Looks like, oh, look at the licorice. Red licorice.
As on the tricking part. In rural areas, this usually amounted to little more than tipping over the outhouses and taking wheels off wagons, all the while in disguise. People could prevent damage to their property by essentially paying off the vandals in the form of treats. But in the northern cities, things got a bit out of hand. By the first few
car right there? Look at all these silky white licorice trees.
Decades of the 20th century, there was enough mayhem associated with the day that there was a concerted effort to secularize it, remove any references to the supernatural, and turn celebrations into parades.
Looks like fucking Pleasant Park. Straight out Pleasant Park. Looks like a skull cheap. It's Fortnite. What's in that pot? Same vibes as that one scene from that, the hub. You know, the pumpkin, but it's a pot. Remember when I was a little kid, bro, in my neighborhood, we used to do this thing, like, they would put, like, food in, like, the pots or whatever, and they used to tell us that it's, like, brains and shit. We would just feel it. Ooh.
Parties and affairs at community centres and schools.
I think about my childhood.
Since this didn't seem to help much, Halloween was retooled as a holiday specifically for children, and costumes and trick-or-treating was revived. Early Halloween costumes were often fairly strange, and more than a little disturbing. They were all do-it-yourself, of course, and people could, and did get, pretty creative. Something underlines all of this. Halloween is great fun, but its meaning is still in the connection of the living with the dead, life and death, sowing and reaping, death and rebirth of each year, and the threat of death that being alive carries with it, and the hope that there is a world beyond. We all love to be frightened when we know that we're safe, because it's exhilarating, but we don't love to be threatened by natural catastrophes. What we love is the encounter with some other world of spirits and ghosts and supernatural entities that we still feel some connection with. Festivals like Halloween are about thinning the wall between our realm and some other realm we cannot see, but somehow know is there. Some of us can hear a dead relative or friend or spouse in the kitchen at 2 in the morning. Some of us can hear footsteps on the stairs or in the hall. Some of us can see or feel something in the dark.
What was that feeling when you're being watched? Like, this goes out to all the credit people. Like, you just always feel like you're being watched when really nobody gives a fuck. When people are nosy, but like, people are so chill, man.
Some of us clinically die, and yet come back with tales of seeing other places. Real or not, whether an actual glimpse of another world, or just the result of a dying brain. This must have happened to people for hundreds, or thousands, or tens of thousands of years. Halloween is certainly a time for pranks. We can be a trickster, an imposter, a jack. But it's also time to reflect on what we may not know, a time to let drop that veil between us and them. So that's it for this video.
Well, guys, if this video enjoyed it, which one of those facts about Halloween was most interesting to you? Reaction content, what is scary features? Do us next one. Peace.